Good afternoon. How are you? Well, it's not bad. It's 57 degrees out. The sun is out. That always makes a difference. The humidity is 26%. And Thomas Jefferson says there's a wind at 8 miles an hour. I don't feel it now. Don't feel it yet, but it may come. There are themes every day that predict what Trump wants. Now, I've quoted Aristotle in the past and said nothing improves your aim like having a target. And Trump has a target. And the question is, what is that target? So let's talk a little bit about what he's doing and see if that gives us any indication of what he's about. He wants a 25% fee on autos. Okay, so if you're buying car X and it costs whatever it does and you increase the price by 25%, who is prepared to buy the more expensive car? Now, Trump says that if we have these more expensive cars, we'll regain manufacturing jobs in the future in plants that remain on a drawing board at Trump's Resolute desk. So, does your choice become buying a more expensive car if you absolutely need it, or waiting the several years for a factory to be built that will sell a less expensive car that you could buy? Or, if you have a decent car, do you bet on the future of America recovering from this potentate and get that car when he's driven from office? These are all fair questions. And every one of them suggests that Americans are going to pay more for cars, or do without, or wait and repair the cars they have. None of these pass the test for helping us at home. And all of these choices suggest we're at war with other countries who will find the things that we need, that we can't compromise, that we're not going to build factories for, and cause even more suffering. Now, I think finally America understands why a tariff is a tax, unless people radically change their behavior or can do without and can avoid the necessaries. So, Trump says he's doing this because he wants people to be dedicated to America. We can do it ourselves. Now, we have this master consultant helping the president. You could call him the co-president, Elon Musk. Now, remind me, is Musk selling cars in China? Is he manufacturing them there? Oh my God, he's not manufacturing those cars in the United States. Now, here's something more. Not only is he doing it, he's in competition with a Chinese company that he said forever he could beat, but they've broken him. China's EV cars. These electric cars, broke through the 100 billion market in sales, beating Elon. So Trump is getting beaten in China. Now, to be fair, here at home, he has plants in California and Texas. So the nice question is, are they going to continue to sell Chinese cars here? Or are they going to try to sell from cars made here? And are they concerned about people putting the cars on fire or vandalizing them. Now, there's something wrong about this from a government or, well, common sense view. Does Trump insist that those who are in charge of business should be making and selling here? But Elon Musk is not doing that. He's going around tearing down our government, even as he's defying what Trump thinks should be the rule about tariffs. So, does Trump hope that his co-president will sell EV cars here that he's made elsewhere? Will he increase his production here? So that's one part of this, the tariffs that Trump would put on products compromising us. It's a form of economic violence because in some places, like where I am, yeah, you can get around with a bicycle or you could walk or a motorcycle. But if you're doing anything else, you need to have a car. And the roads, paved roads included, can be tough on a car. And every community has some animals that can get hit from time to time. So this is a serious question. And you extend it into food and the other things, and you have a major crisis for America. Now, Vance, apparently, according to reports the last couple of days, he wants to have us bring in less. He wants us to have less to do with any dependency on any other nation state. People, amazingly, in the Trump administration are pushing back on this position. And in the tape recording that we heard, there were some mixed statements in addition to what they were talking about Yemen. So he doesn't want to have anything to do with other nation states, but he's going there with his wife. Now, he's going there at a time when Trump says he wants to, some way or other, take over Greenland. So we have the vice president and his wife going to Greenland, but now they're going to a U.S. base there. What kind of a signal is that? Is Vance going there to be the eyes and ears on what the military looks like on the ground in Greenland? What? And if he's not, isn't that what one might surmise from him changing her trip from what was kind of a tourist trip to what is now, show me your weapons, show me your men, everything except flying over the streets anywhere in Greenland. So what is Trump's objective? Well, let's go through it. You know about Occam's razor. It's a notion that of choices, some choices strike you as making more sense, more common sense, and so they're the right one. There's no magic to this. It doesn't always work. It's just one of the questions one can ask. But let's ask it about Trump. Trump appears to be destroying America as we understand it. It's like one of these monster movies in which aliens come and, change the atmosphere, terraform. They do all these things. Is that what Trump is doing? Well, it appears that he's trying to eliminate benefits. He's trying to gather piles of money. Is that only to save the wealthy from taxes? He's just going to slide that over to them. That's a nice question. Is he doing this for Putin? Because his policies have favored Putin in recent days. Ukraine is the most obvious one, in my opinion. But at the same time that if he's serving Putin, why is he talking about a seizure of territory and states. I'm going to take on Canada. I'm going to take on Greenland. I'm going to take on the Panama Canal. Those things don't sound like somebody who is doing it to benefit Putin. So even as he's not attacking Putin, he's taking apart our government, changing its format, changing its values, changing its purpose. So if he wants to have an independent status, is he thinking that he should mimic Putin, become his equal, and become his equal but also his ally? So does Trump plan to mimic Putin with regard to Greenland, which has been the most obvious, and perhaps in time Canada, and also the Panama Canal? Perhaps. So then what is Trump's objective? Is it for the United States to become the ally of Russia and perhaps join with other nation states that historically we would never have given a moment's thought to joining with? China being the most obvious. So, where are we? We should be in a status that's to fight even stronger than we have to date. Trump and his people have figured out the courts are too fair, and so they want to compromise them in every way they can. I don't think they're confident that the Supreme Court will go their way on some of these big questions. So how do they strangle the court? They pull back their money. They redefine what they have the powers to do. Now, that itself is going to be a constitutional case. And the individual groups that I've been encouraging everybody to support, like the ACLU, they'll be in a tough position if the claim they want to make can't be enforced in the court. We have the Congress talking about impeaching judges and passing this bill that I've discussed now, which is cut off the money to the courts, things they haven't decided on an exact plan, but they're playing around with the idea of getting it off next week. So we'll see if they do that, but that's something to watch for. So Trump may be deferring to Putin, but not conceding to him America on a platter. So if I had to figure out from Occam's razor which one I'd choose, knowing the megalomania of Trump, I would think he wants to establish an empire that he's the head of, and that he hopes to take on these territories by hegemony or invasion, by deals, by annexations, however he can get them. And he's the big bully on the block. And we've changed from a world view of cooperating as perhaps tense neighbors to power and force, as opposed to rules and historic processes. So that's our real problem. And Congress has to wake up. We have to wake them up. And we have to take the steps in court, in protest, and in other ways to overturn the possible alternative objectives of Trump that would end the republic as we know it, eliminate our vote as we understand it, and replace it with this megalomaniac's monarchy or oligarchy on the way to monarchy. And we can't have that, because it's the end of freedom. And if there's one value we're entitled to enjoy, is whatever freedom we can have without interfering with our neighbor next door to us. Sort of the freedom extends to the edge of my nose, and this is true for everyone. So these are a few of my observations. I realize that some may be ahead of the fair analysis of the evidence, but we have so many data points of a capitalism without conscience, of warriors without restraint or purpose, an economic pain imposed on the people who are expected to just sit down and take it. So that's what I got to say from my cathedral of trees, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.